Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We got a very special show for you today as we cast one of the absolute best games from last month's ICYFAR challenge. It was the Overly Aggressive Challenge, where we put out the challenge to basically go out, play the most aggressive, in-your-face StarCraft you possibly could, and send us the craziest games that came out of that experiment. Down here in the bottom left, we've got Super Saiyan's Wimpy Tuna, who may indeed be the submitter of this replay, as that's a spawning pool, that is. In the top right, we've got Super as Grundy. So these guys are, I think, about Diamond 1, because they're both teams of players that I play against a lot. Super is a pro team. Super Saiyans is a high-level clan as well of very, very aggressive players. I know them because they've cheesed me so many times over the last few years. Grundy doing a pretty, this looks like pretty tight openings. The APM, not all that high, but definitely looks like this is the point where, these guys really know how to play like meta builds and that sort of stuff. And I feel like definitely Diamond 1 or above from what we see so far. Either way, Grundy's going to come in with his scout and see a very early pool gas. But interesting, wait, there's no lava being saved up though. So only 2 Zerglings off a 13 pool and a second gas. Okay, I mean, this could be one base Ravager, but if a Rotron doesn't go down right now, this is looking an awful lot like one base Swarm Host. And to be specific, my one base Swarm Host version, the one that in my first build, when I was inspired to do that, where I just rushed straight to the fastest possible Nidus Swarm Host, not even faking the aggression, and Grundy's doing a good job of reading it, right? Look at this micro from Grundy. I mean, I don't know why. I guess he just wants to keep the Zerglings distracted. And he's not even building a Zealot. Wow, Grundy with the read. He's like, wait, dude, I saw double gas. I'm going to pylon block your expand just to be sure, and I'm just going to wait until I build an Adept. So this is a really good response by Grundy, not overreacting at all against the aggression. Sorry, guys, my nose is itchy. I swear I'm not picking it. I swear. There we go. Adept is getting chrono boosted. 2 Lings coming in, but that Adept will be out soon. With only 2 Lings, it's not that big of a deal. So the thing about this version of the build is it doesn't force much of a response. So the Protoss player is going to have a really healthy income and a good setup. The problem for the Protoss player, and the good thing for the Zerg, is that it hits like a brick, man. That layer is already beyond halfway done. The Pylon does get heavily damaged here, but as I said, the Adept's going to be out with plenty of time. Pylon gets bruised, and it could go down later, having lost 84 hit points beyond its shields. But at this point, the Zergling's just trying to buy a bit of time so the Adept doesn't get in the base. Going to try and tear the Pylon down as well before moving back up into the main. And a Stargate is on the way. So Grundy macroing up, building another Adept. Oh man, if those Adepts go across the map, they could do big damage, this build is so bare bones. 2-minute 50 Infestation Pit. Expect a Nidus Worm to go down soon after that. And the Overlord in the base sees the Stargate. There we go. 2 Adepts coming across the map. That's going to spell big problems for Wimpy Tuna. By the way, Wimpy Tuna, amazing name. A cowardly fish. Definitely one which you've excited to see where it goes. Now, obviously, guys, if you're wondering, man, I've already watched a lot of Pig Swarm Host builds. Hang around. If this one got picked, I mean, I remember Eon Blue was so excited by all these replays, and he picked them for very good reasons. So I got to imagine that this goes somewhere where we haven't seen the one base Swarm Host go before. Most of the times I've been just killing people really quickly in the first 10 minutes, but here we go. The Adepts coming in, going to cause some problems. They've already got 1 drone and forcing a lot of mining time. Good drone micro, though. Wimpy Tuna handling this pretty well, and you'll notice he's focus firing the Adepts as well, but they can come back in for more, which I think Grundy absolutely should do. Oh man, Grundy's building a Void Ray, can kill that Overlord, but has accidentally rallied the Nexus to the Overlord, not the Stargate. That was a misclick. And the Nidus Worm's already going up in the main. The Swarmers aren't even ready, funnily enough. They won't be ready for another 10 seconds. So the Nidus Worm pops out. Grundy hears the screech, and Grundy's like, oh god, what's happening? Turns on Prismatic Alignment. He's got to go clear that Nidus Worm out, but there's 2 Queens. 2 Queens easily beat a Void Ray, especially with no battery. And Grundy, apparently willing to give up his main base, gives it up and just moves to the natural, is trying to get extra gases as well. The first 3 Swarm Hosts here. Oh, run, Grundy, get out of there. Oh my god, just clicking on the gas. Wimpy Tuna. Terrible usage of the first Locust Wave. Misclicks on a gas, guys. Wastes a lot of damage output. Getting the Pylon very effective, though, and the Queens will push that Void Ray. It cannot stand and fight. Oh, the Adepts! The Adepts are in there, but they're not focus firing on the drones. Oh, Grundy. Grundy could have killed like 8 workers here. Grundy with the multitasking fail. Oh no, Grundy could have got so many workers. He's already at 36 workers. Also needs to go back to mining. The important thing is in between those locust waves, the probes could have been pulled to kill the queens, and he could have got rid of this Nidus Worm. But because he wasn't able to do that, his Void Ray and Zealot are trying to fight, but they are losing this battle. Wait, second Void Ray pops out, and that will change the tale. The queens will get back into the Nidus Worm and survive for now. Locusts are going to hit from the left side. Probes are returning to mining. Grundy, this is a mechanical challenge dealing with this Swarmo stuff, but at the same time, Wimpy Tuna hasn't really prioritized targeting things because it's very APM intensive on both sides. Even though the Zerg's only on one base, these Locusts killing a Pylon and a Zealot, I mean, that's not really high value. Whereas if you're getting on the probes, depowering the Pylon in the middle to actually depower everything, that's a very different story. Queens and Swarmos not going to pop out there. That's way too risky. Just going to stay in the reserve position. 4 Queens up first, 3 Void Rays. I mean, you got transfused, so I think the Zerg's winning that battle, but it could be very close. Void Rays back up in the main. They got to actually clean up these vision spotters. Grundy finds it. Good shutdown by Grundy. He's going to shut that one down. The Nidus Swarm host in the main gets shut down, so they're going to have to keep sieging the left side. Zealots plus batteries plus an overcharge could fight these Locusts. Obviously, one at a time, though, they actually kind of give up position there. Locusts will take the Zealots out. Once again, though, not the highest value targets. I feel like if Grundy just keeps making Zealots and Void Rays, is mining so much more right now, trying to build lots of pylons, is trying to make a Robo. If I was Grundy, I'd be going Charge Zealots. I know that much. Void Rays clean that one up, but they don't see this backup Nidus Worm, and the Locusts continue to siege from the left side. Wimpy Tuna trying to expand behind this, but is down 18 workers and desperately needs to keep the intensity up and get on top of these workers, because every second that goes by, the Protoss is mining way more resources. Void Rays caught by the Queens. That is a big mistake there. Grundy loses a Void Ray and a ton of probes on the natural, not pulling those away. The most important thing against Swarmos is you need to pull your workers away, let the Locusts expire, go back to mine. Because remember, they only last 18 seconds, and it's a 43-second cooldown on those Locusts after they fire. It's insane. 25 seconds of them not able to do anything. So the Locusts really are not able to fire as much as you might expect. Observer, and he's going Observers and more Void Rays. We got a Sky Toss player here in Grundy for sure. If Grundy got a Forge and threw some cannons down with these batteries, I'd actually have a bit more faith in him surviving. But you can see the Stalker goes down. Battery overcharge does go up, but probably on the wrong battery. Should have been on the one in the rear with the gear. The Nidus Worm goes down to the Void Rays at the same time. Queens are on the front. I've got to say, Wimpy Tuna getting that number of probes on the natural has kept Wimpy Tuna in this game. The problem is that the Void Ray count, if it grows to the point where they overwhelm the Queens, Grundy's going to have way more map control. On the other hand, man, these Locusts, not a single one has been microed into the mineral line. The trick is when you launch Locust, guys, you box them, and then you right-click past the enemy targets, and then you pick your target and you swoop. So you tell them to use the swoop command, which is where they land in on the ground. And you do that in the mineral line. And often you'll do like hold position so they don't chase Zealots or Stalkers. They just gun down the probes so quickly. But this is what I'm talking about. If the Void Rays catch it, 1 or 2 Queens out in the open like that, they can do very well. Tries to go for the Swarm host, not able to get them. Attacking a Gas Geyser yet again. Wimpy Tuna focusing on the least efficient target. Oh no! Wimpy Tuna is doing a really good job at keeping the action going in multiple spaces, but look at that as well. Throwing 6 pairs of Locusts. It only takes 1 or 2 to beat 2 Adepts. Will at least take those ones down to get rid of that Adept counter pressure, but Wimpy Tuna needs to grow their economy and needs to do it quickly while continuing to throw Locusts into the economy. Grundy's back up to 2 worker lines, and I think Grundy might be surviving and winning this game. The Void Ray Observer will start clearing up the creep. There's a lot of transfuse on those Queens, though. Grundy losing another Void Ray. Oh no, turning on Prismatic Alignment, it gives only bonus damage to Armored, which will help versus the Swarmos and the Nidus, not versus the Queens. 2 Void Rays going down, and a big mistake for Grundy. On the other hand, Grundy realizing corner bases will help them out. Fleet Beacon is going up as well as that corner base, and is trying to build more shield batteries. 2 Void Rays are pumping at a time. Still a massive income advantage, but not pulling probes away is always a bit of a disaster, even though, once again, Wimpy Tuna attacking an assimilator. Really bad targeting for Wimpy Tuna in that regard. I feel like he could have won this game by now, but as it is, let's look at the income graph, or income tab in the top. Only behind a few hundred resources. The natural saturated now is trying to get Hydras as the follow-up. We've got more Swarm hosts that will be thrown in on the natural expansion. The corner base is almost finished for Grundy, but Grundy needs to push back these Queens. If Grundy can't push back the Queens, Grundy's going to get overwhelmed and outgunned in this. The Cybercore, also a low-value target. It does go down, but that doesn't really change anything here. It's not an integral piece of tech for a player who's already building off a bunch of Stargates. Will rebuild that in the back, will Grundy. Grundy has almost got the corner base up. A third base going up for Wimpy Tuna right next to it. Wimpy Tuna is still sieging with 11 Swarm hosts and 9 Queens. Okay, one Swarm Host does fall there. Once again, Locusts going only after low-value targets. The Wimpy Tuna. Oh, transfuse, 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 but cannot fight in range of the battery. The Void Rays get a queen kill, and that's very important. That's only the second queen they've killed this game. They can now get rid of the Nidus Worms. That would be massive, but Grundy has been really sitting back and has been afraid to venture out, which I am very surprised by, because now that Grundy's got control and even has carriers about to pop, Grundy is actually looking to withstand this pressure. And Wimpy Tuna going Queen Hydra behind it. I don't know if that's going to work out, because Wimpy has not been nimble enough with these Locust waves. Imagine if Locusts throw in and they land there and hold position in the mineral line, or they focus the Nexus. Big killer move. If then we throw another Locust wave right into the mineral line, big killer move. But because Wimpy Tuna is just A-moving the, basically just, you know, throwing them, you can see the Locusts here are just kind of landing wherever they will. Finally targeting the Nexus. Battery overcharge is not available. It already got used. Yet despite that, the carrier Void Ray defends. And that Nexus does survive. Really well done there by Grundy. If Grundy can push out now, which he easily can, Grundy can take these queens down. Even pulls back the weak Void Ray there and does force the queens out of this territory with the Observer. Is going to clear up the creep. Another Nidus Worm tries to go up on the right side. But I don't know how well Queen Hydra will fare versus carriers. In small numbers, it can work for the Zerg if they have more stuff. But economically speaking, it's pretty similar. The Zerg has a third base up, but despite that, isn't actually mining any more resources. They've only just got these workers up on that base, and that's causing a lot of problems. A third carrier gets out right now for Grundy. Dude, oh, here we go. This Locust Wave could do big damage. The Queens, though, one of the Swarm Hosts go down before they can get back in the Nidus Worm. Going after the tech is massive. The Fleet Beacon, very important. Will get that. Can you get a Stargate as well? Would be huge if he could kill a Stargate. He's going to try and take out the Robo. Does change targets to the Stargate, but the carrier is cleaning everything up so quickly. +1 air weapons on the way in the back as well. Grundy holding on with the Sky Toss, and Wimpy Tuna now accidentally walking some queens across the map. That's got to be a bit of a mistake. Adepts are coming in for the counter attack. They're going to run into the Hydras, which should make quick work of that. 5 Hydras gunning those Adepts down. But at this point, I think Wimpy Tuna needs to pull back from the aggression and get up a mass of Hydras. 55 drones versus 47 probes. But with that third base up in the corner, it's still a good income for the Protoss, and the carrier count grows. I always say, if you can fight 6 carriers or less with mass Hydras and you've got a bit more numbers, it's an okay fight. Problem is, a lot of the supply is tied up in Swarm Hosts right now. That 81 army supply lead doesn't really tell you the whole picture, especially with 2 or 3 queens getting caught out. The Locust Waves are doing good harassment damage, but they don't help in the air fight. You've only got 18 Hydras versus what's soon going to be 5 or 6 carriers, 7 Void Rays. I don't know if that's the numbers advantage you need. The way you want to take that fight is you want queens up front, transfusing, Hydras behind that, A-moving, and just gunning the interceptors down. That's the way you win this fight. You can't run underneath and focus fire because your army's too slow. Your Hydras are too fragile. You've got to just use their fast attack rate to kill your opponent's damage output, and then you can push through and take him out. Swarm Host on the right side still getting damage done. I think Grundy's lack of movement's been the biggest problem. Grundy just hasn't been quick enough to really clear up the area around the bases, and is honestly very lucky that Wimpy Tuna hasn't been microing these Locust Waves any better. If some of those split off and landed in the natural, and the rest went in the main mineral line, this could be game over by now, but once again, landing a little bit early. The Stargate will go down, though. That's a very big move. Hydra's running through the middle of the map. That's a huge mistake. Wimpy Tuna acting like they are the big boy bully in this game. They're going to stumble across this corner base, though, and they find one of the corner bases a very important scout. Another Nidus Worm's going to pop up in the main base. That could be very effective at clearing out the tech. We've got more gateways and a Robo Bay coming in rather than Stargates right now. Hydras do take out a Void Ray. They'll take out another one. 3 Void Rays fall, but once the Interceptors get thrown in there, it's a really bad fight for the Hydras, and running away with Hydras never feels good. 22 Hydras on the map, 7 more building against 5 carriers, 4 Void Rays. I think that was a good skirmish. And finding the Nexus, Wimpy Tuna stumbling across these bases. The Swarmers go in the main, and the Queens there are going to throw their Locusts in as well. Okay, this game's going to become a total shit show because this Protoss army beats this Zerg army. That's the problem for Wimpy Tuna. Wimpy Tuna massacres the economy of the Protoss, but so many Hydras are getting gunned down, and with that many carriers hot on your tail, Grundy doesn't need to stop. Grundy can just keep going in. The Void Rays are almost all dead. There's only 1 left, but the carriers... Oh man, the last Void Ray falls, but there's still 5 carriers, and there's just no answer to those Interceptors, especially with the +1 attack. Queens are in the main, or the natural, which is almost the main base now. Locusts are in the main. The tech is getting annihilated, which means it's basically 5 carriers and a dream. 3 Stalkers are warping in down to the bottom right, so it looks like it's going to be 9 unupgraded Stalkers, 5 carriers up against what is now just 14 Hydras with 7 more building. That's not enough Hydras to beat these carriers. Spores are trying to build. If the Queens come home and get in front and tank for the Hydras, it can work. But the Hydras are running in front. No, Wimpy. Wimpy's trying to focus the carriers. That's not how you use Hydras versus carriers. Oh no! Tries to flank from 2 sides, kills 2 carriers, but loses about 20 Hydras for it. That is not how you fight carriers with Hydras. Oh no, oh, that's a disaster. Imagine if the Queens were here, mass transfusing these Spore Crawlers with the Hydras behind it. Could have won this base trade while the Swarm hosts continue to kill, but instead is losing so much. And the problem is that, wait, Grundy doesn't have bank. Grundy doesn't have bank, which means Grundy might not be able to rebuild the Interceptors. Grundy doesn't have much mining right now. That base is almost completely gone. There's only 1 Nexus left, and the probes are long-distance mining. Grundy hasn't fixed that, and Grundy's only got 100 minerals in the bank. But the problem, I guess, there's just nothing to kill the Interceptors, though. Wimpy Tuna is trying to base trade, is trying to hide a drone out there. Have we got drones out? Needs to hide drones. Run the drones, dude. There we go. The drones are running away. Wimpy Tuna's running the drones away. At this moment, we got Queens in the top. On the right side, probes are still long-distance mining. Grundy needs to fix that. Grundy is poised to win the game, though. Honestly, there's nothing that beats the carriers in a fight. 6 Queens can tank for a little bit, but they won't actually do the damage for it to matter. Wimpy's got 1 hatchery. I mean, this hatchery is still available right now, but of course, Grundy will clean that up on the way out. Grundy should absolutely be fixing this probe mining, though. I gotta wonder. I mean, guys, I don't want to cast any aspersions on SkyToss players, but I gotta wonder what Grundy's looking at or doing with their 300 APM right now. Because they haven't brought these Stalkers over, and they're not fixing their mining. Are they just literally spamming click? They've got 180 APM, and all they're doing is spamming click on the spawning pool. What? Dude, why are you staring at the carriers? What are you doing? Grundy, what are you doing, mate? Grundy's frozen up in this situation. Is just staring at these carriers. I mean, you could shift click it and go do other things. You could be mining right now. You could be getting more bases up. The Stalkers alone, actually, it looks like most of the Stalkers did die, I guess, to the Hydras. There's only 3 Stalkers left, but the Stalkers could go and find these bases. They could pick off this base. The carriers are wasting time killing extractors right now. Grundy finally starts probing up and transfers those probes to that base. Starts a gateway, though. I guess he's trying to rebuild the tech from scratch, but could have actually built a Stargate or something like that instead. Maybe he's thinking about a DT Shrine. Carrier's going to move across the map, but they've left a hatchery right there in the natural that they completely forgot about. Observer does find the corner base. It looks like Grundy's happy to play the base race, but I think Grundy will need to set up more buildings around the map. He's building a gate, a cyber core. I think a forge and cannons is probably the best thing you could do to reinforce your position. There are still 9 swarm hosts on the map. Where are they? Are they just... They're in the Nidus Worm? But there's no way to create extra Nidus Worms, so there's no reason for those to be hiding there. If this died, all the Swarm hosts would die as well, because there's no other exits anywhere on the map. The Carrier and the Stalkers will find this base. The Swarm hosts and the Queens are coming out. The Queens are trying to defend. They can't beat that army, man. This is really disastrous. Wimpy Tuna's dropping creep over there for some reason. Everything's going down. Oh, God, these players are using the Diva voice pack. Oh, no. Let's be real. She's my favorite. Swarm hosts are going down to the right side as well. You're going to throw Locust in there. Carrier Stalker is going to pick off that base in the top left. Swarm hosts, though, okay, trying to build batteries here is Grundy. Grundy, batteries ain't going to help you. The Locusts, the same Swarm hosts that have been absolute pain in the asses for him all game long, are going for it. Can they get rid of the Nexus? The Carrier's recall is really quick. I think they'll... No, they can't save it! They can't save it. The Nexus goes down. Grundy needs to cancel these shield batteries to get enough money to rebuild a Nexus. You need to cancel those right now. Right now. Okay, Grundy can rebuild that Nexus and will still be able to rebuild in this game. Now just needs to split the army and the observers up to try and catch these swarm hosts. But Grundy, we already mentioned Grundy's a bit of a SkyToss player. You can see just F2A moving the army back and forth. Needs to spread out because you know there's no threat. There's like a single Hydra hunting down buildings here. There's 6 Queens that are just waddling to the top left of the map. I mean, Grundy's got the better economy, the better army. There should be no way to lose this game, but the Swarm hosts are doubling around. Grundy does not have enough money for another Nexus. Grundy not splitting the Observer off, A-moving the whole army down. The one Hydra says, hey guys, distraction. Grundy's like, quick, a distraction. We must go and investigate further. The Swarm hosts are like, I can't believe you fell for that. Oh my God. The Locust come in, the Nexus gets canceled, but there's still no 400 minerals. And with no Nexus on the map, you can't return anymore. The Locusts are doing great damage there. I mean, as long as the Swarm hosts get hunted down, though, Wimpy Tuna's still got plenty of buildings and won't really be able to lose the base trade because you've got the gate survives, the gases survive, as long as you hunt down the Swarm hosts. But Grundy, what are you doing? Oh no! Oh no! Grundy's leaving the Swarmos alive. Grundy! I guess Grundy has money and can build assimilators around the map. Absolutely needs to go do that. 75 minerals only per assimilator. So it's the best mineral investment for hit points you can get in a structure. But Grundy hasn't started doing that. Grundy's hunting this hatchery down. Grundy has still left a hatchery in the bottom as well. Those are the only 2 remaining bases. These are all the buildings. So I think Grundy's just saying, I'll win a base race. And Swarmos are pretty slow to fire. Those buildings die. There's still buildings there, though. And look at this. The queens are going to get gunned down. There's still plenty of minerals. Oh, but he's spending minerals to rebuild interceptors, which means he won't have as much minerals to build buildings. That's actually an important consideration. The queens just killed like 6 or 7 interceptors, which is about 100 minerals that are gone. The probes are now running away. They need to go build buildings right now, because when these buildings go down to the next locust wave, that's going to be the last buildings of Grundy. Grundy will catch most of these drones trying to escape. Yeah, most of them do go down, as do the broodlings that pop out. Is going to clear up the extractors. Don't waste time killing lava, though. You've got to kill these last buildings and get out of there. The Swarmos in the bottom right about to recharge. They're going to throw that locust wave. They will kill these buildings, but a new pylon has been started. Grundy just trying to win the base race right now, but Grundy's only got enough money for 1 more assimilator. Oh, Grundy does not have much money. Grundy's got to build an assimilator and got to do it soon. These units could just kill the Swarmos, and that would be the easiest path to victory, but Grundy has made this quite difficult for themselves. Is now chasing down this base, which has actually got 14 workers mining on it. Wimpy Tuna needs to run drones away. These are the very last buildings for Wimpy Tuna on this entire map. If he just runs workers away, he can build a hatchery in the corner. He can do anything else, but Wimpy Tuna's not doing it. Both players in a very hectic base trade, and neither player's preparing for the next stage of it. Some Swarmos here. Splitting the Swarmos is Wimpy Tuna. These ones are going to go for the pylon. Of course, remember, these buildings have been revealed because there's no nexus on the map. Looks like one of the Swarmos did go down there. 4 of the Swarmos here. Oh, Grundy's actually blocking the Swarmos to save the last building. Grundy's just going to try and shift click these down. Grundy just needs to kill a hatchery and the 2 extractors. Grundy could win this game. The probes, but wait. The locusts, they had to get launched. But Wimpy Tuna saved one of them. The probes are distracting. These locusts, are they going to get it? There's only 1 extractor left. It's got 100 hit points, 30 hit points, but no! Down to the wire. That probe trap almost saved it. For Wimpy, for Grundy there. Oh man, let's rewind. Look at this move. Hold positions the probes. And Wimpy Tuna was trying to click past. And if Wimpy Tuna didn't realize and was like, wait, why can't we throw? That would have been huge. Does throw, but actually only threw 2 of them. Waited with the other 2, got right up and threw them right on the assimilator. And dude, how many hit points was the extractor on when that died? Oh my god, down to the wire. It was like 17 hit points. 17 hit points on that extractor. That is absolutely ridiculous, dude. I love that. I mean, don't get me wrong. These guys are they're not pro players. They both made lots of mistakes. But that situation is not something you ever have experience in or are prepared for. And they both made some really clever moves within it. So that was actually really cool. That probe trick almost saved the day for Grundy. Actually, wait. The Nidus Worm's still there. Okay, never mind. There was a Nidus Worm in the top, so it wouldn't have actually mattered anyway. Grundy really should have just hunted the Swarmos down by splitting the army up, but there was no mobile anti-air. There was nothing that could kill the carriers. But Grundy with that Sky Toss player, F2A move have it. Bad luck, Grundy. GG, well played, guys. Thank you very much for submitting, and I hope you enjoyed this game. If you guys enjoy other fun, chaotic, and crazy games, click on one of these other 2 games on the screen, and we'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye, and good night.